Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Okay, welcome to the bonus show. I have a very bizarre story here that I guess is a true story about a reality TV hopeful who gets a third breast surgically implanted. Why? She claims that she got the surgery to become more unattractive to men, stating that she has no desire to date anymore, which seems weird to me. I mean, I think if you just wanted to become more unattractive to men, there are better ways to do it.
That was my exact reaction. There are ways to just be unattractive to men that don't require you to get disfiguring surgery.
Yeah, and I think a lot of men would actually like this, despite the fact that it's clearly not a normal breast. I don't know how to say it. It looks kind of weird. But she says, I am crazy. Crazy people don't know they're crazy. But technically, since I know I'm crazy, I'm not crazy. Which
reminds me of this statement is false.
It makes a little bit of sense, actually, because it's true that crazy people rarely realize that they're crazy. The third breast is made from silicone, and her stomach tissue and a prosthetic was inserted to give the appearance of a nipple. However, the surgeon was unable to manufacture an areola, so she had one tattooed. The whole procedure, I guess, cost about $20,000. That's pretty substantial.
I have very little that I can imagine saying about this other than this seems like deep mental illness.
You know, what doctor agrees to do this? I mean, do you have no dignity? Do you have no, what's the word? I guess dignity is the word. I mean, when you take your Hippocratic oath, regardless of your field, I think they all take that oath, don't they?
Yeah, and it of course has been reported that this story is completely fake anyway. So it's probably one of those things where we're kind of talking about something that isn't real.
Well, yeah, it might not be real, but I don't. Are you confirming that this is fake?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, there are reports that say that this is fake, and that obviously, as you're saying, you're really getting to the right point, which is the Hippocratic Oath, that doctors would not do this.
But I think there are doctors that would do this. I mean, how different is it from a doctor that injects Botox into someone?
Well, I think it's quite different because not having wrinkles is something that sometimes is a normal part of the human condition, right? At certain ages, for example, having a third breast, unless you're born with a very rare disfigurement, is not a normal thing.
I don't know. I think there are a lot of plastic surgery procedures. Okay, well, and considering what Botox is, injecting a neurotoxin into someone's face for vain reasons. But apart from that, what about like the person, that guy white guy who decided to turn himself into a Korean-looking fellow through countless surgical procedures? What about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's, again, plastic surgery is... I agree that there are many things plastic surgeons do that are on the borders of what would be ethical and what isn't ethical. However, if a man goes in and specifically says, oh, I want a facelift that makes my eyes look more like a Korean person. I want to change this, and it has the side effect of making him look more like a Korean person. That individual is probably also suffering from some pretty significant emotional issues, but the surgeon is not doing anything like, adding a second head or 2 more fingers to their hand. I think we're talking about different things here.
Irks me. It irks me. Anyway, moving on. Let us know if that's a fake story. It very well could be fake, but at the same time, it very well could be real. Spacesuits. MIT is working on a new spacesuit, one that would be much, much, much less bulky. So perhaps something like you have seen in sci-fi movies and TV shows. And what they're trying to get rid of the bulk by creating a suit that applies pressure directly to the skin instead of having a suit filled with air handling your pressure problem. And so the biosuit, as they call it, replaces this gas pressure with actual mechanical pressure. You're like tight wrapping yourself. Mechanical coils, a mechanical pressure produced by coils of metal wire. And they developed these coils, this wire, to constrict when heated. And they, I guess, could accomplish the same thing as our suits with this technology. And it would be pretty lightweight and make things much easier when you're going out on spacewalks and trying to maneuver on different celestial bodies. And they only have a couple problems with this. And one is keeping these things heated. It might require bulky batteries or a backpack of batteries or some type of thing like that, or trying to figure out how to make these things stay in that constricted position once heated. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think that the engineering problems aside, which hopefully will be figured out, this is a big thing because, as you know, right now when astronauts go on spacewalks to do stuff, in part because of the awkward and large nature of their suits, they have to work far more slowly and their range of motion is far more limited and they are at risk of making a mistake. I mean, I think that this is just an obvious thing if we're going to take space exploration seriously.
Yeah, I'm shocked that we haven't developed something, haven't produced something since, it seems like our spacesuits really haven't changed much at all since the first ones.
I think internally they have in terms of the mechanisms, but in terms of kind of like that big bulky appearance, no.
Still, we're still using gas to pressurize the suits. It's awkward. There's got to be a better way. This could be it. Here's another, I guess you could call this a tech story. The world's first powered submarine was actually in existence about 60 years before people thought it was. And this story is incredible. The submarine was, of course, made of wood and other mechanical parts, built by Spanish nautical engineer. How do you pronounce this guy's name, David? You're the expert here. You don't have it in front of you, do you?
I don't have it in front of me right now.
Narcís Monturiol y Estariol. Yeah,
brilliant.
Pretty bad, huh? That's the phonetic pronunciation, the phonetic English pronunciation.
Thank you.
From Catalonia. And his submarine was, I guess, considered the world's true first submarine. And it had a combustion engine constructed of olive wood, 46 feet long, more than 6 feet wide, and about 10 feet tall. In the water.
Now, Lewis, I just want to make one thing very clear. If he's from Catalonia, he's Spanish, right?
That's what I said.
Okay. Oh, just making sure. Okay.
I said built by Spanish nautical engineer.
Yeah. No, for some reason, I thought you said French for a second.
Nope.
You sure you didn't say French, Lewis?
Pretty damn sure.
No, now I'm kidding around. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. 46 displaces 46 metric tons, providing 1,000 cubic feet of interior room. That is pretty good size. The propulsion system, of course, enclosed in this submerged vessel. They couldn't really use a normal combustion engine because it would burn up the oxygen in the submarine. So he created a solution. It used zinc, manganese dioxide, and potassium chlorate to create a chemical heat source hot enough to boil the water of an attached steam furnace and generate power for the propulsion. And this thing made its maiden dive in 1865, went down to about 100 feet. How crazy is that?
It is fascinating. And I still, for whatever reason, I know it doesn't make any sense necessarily, but I am far more wary, or I would be, not that I very often get the opportunity, but something about going deep into the ocean freaks me out way more than flying, which at this point, I'm a good flyer. I'm not afraid of flying. I don't know why. Something about when you think about the amount of pressure that is on you, the water above you when you're that far down, whenever I hear about submarine technology, it just makes me, I don't know, claustrophobic in some way.
Yeah, it is a little bit scary, especially when you watch those submarine movies. But like the one with Harrison Ford, where he plays a Russian, that's pretty interesting.
Is that Hunt for Red October?
No, I think it's a different one. The finances for this, there's an interesting story there. It was only financed, and he barely got the finances for it, after he wrote an open letter to the people of Spain, seeking 300,000 pesetas. I guess that was the currency back then.
Indeed.
Was that what they used up until the euro?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So relatively recent still. In public support. And he was never able to really capitalize on the invention. It was repossessed by creditors in 1867, dismantled and sold for scrap. And I guess he died penniless and forgotten. And yeah, it took a while for his technology to be rediscovered. Someone mentioned that this was like the original Kickstarter, how he funded this.
Yeah,
thing.
it basically was.
Yeah, but fascinating. And we're always finding out about brilliant inventions that were, appeared long before their time. These things still pop up from time to time, especially when talking about things the Romans had invented. Crazy stuff. Submarines. I think our current submarines, those just massive nuclear-powered submarines, are absolutely incredible pieces of technology.
Yeah.
And engineering. They are fascinating. Would I want to live on one? No. Would I like to walk around on one while it's floating on the surface? Sure, that'd be great. But that's all I got for today. Submarines. Excellent stuff.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.